G'day folks, welcome to another episode of Bandaged Cube Creations. Well, in today's episode we're going to look at a cube called the Bandaged Ruin Cube. This one was presented by Quador, and what it has is two clocks, so a clock at front to front down and right to right down. And it then has three pairs. And the first one is this pair that's sitting in the middle of these two clocks. The other two are a pair here, down left to down left front, and here at left back to left back up. So you can kind of see the edge of it there. The problem with this puzzle, or the main blocking point, is this thing here being in that position rather than that position. It really does make a difference. And so I did find this reasonably challenging just to get my head around and then to come up with a decent method. I think I've done that. Now, it's going to cut away to a scrambled puzzle. So normally I've actually scrambled the puzzle on camera and then gone from there. With this one, what I ended up doing was attempting to solve it on camera, and the video just got too long. I got reasonably close, I just didn't get there. And if I can't do it within about half an hour, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to subject people to that. So it will cut away to a scrambled version with me going, okay, let's go, or something like that. So that's just an explanation of why I'm going from here directly to a scrambled cube. Let's go. Well, here we go. And everything is pretty nicely scrambled now. Well, the first thing that I want to do is deal with these clocks here. They might look like they're nicely positioned, actually upside down, but it's really difficult to do anything with them because all they can do is rotate, and so they can't. You know, the most they'll ever be away is 2 turns. And so that's the first thing, is just to get both of them into their position. The next thing that I want to do is get the piece that belongs here, but put it in that position. And this I found was key to getting the thing done. So this is the piece here. So initially I don't just want to turn it like that. I want to bring it up to the top face somehow. That's going to push that off. I guess I could leave that down there for now. And let's see if I can, yep, just put it in like that. Okay, so up, yellow, front, right. The next thing I want to do is put into this position the other of the pairs. So I've got 2 pairs left to deal with. I've got 2 clocks and a pair dealt with at the moment, 2 left. It's actually this one here that I want to go into that position. So, and I want it to be flush the same along here. I don't want it standing up like that. So you can kind of see that's flipped. The green should be there. So the first thing is we're going to just turn it around. Now I want to bring it down here, but this is in the way as well. So I'm going to initially probably just move that up there is, I think, enough. However, I don't like that being in the way. So I'll just turn that off. Okay, now you can see that that's where it actually belongs, but for the bulk of the solve I'm going to have it sitting like that. So it is correctly colored there, but clearly here it's not, and the reason for that is because it's 2 turns away from where it should be, but this is where I need it. Now coming back to here, the last pair that I want to position before I start solving other stuff is this one here. And this needs to go basically into its position. So if I think about what that is, it's sitting there. So let's take stock. The 2 clocks are solved. This pair is now solved. The other 2 pairs are basically being stored in a position that'll help us, but they're not yet solved, but they will be near the end. Okay, so I found this quite difficult to do without doing this setup. And what I'm going to be doing is switching between this setup and the solved setup. And I might as well take you through exactly how I do that now. It's really simple. It's just a matter of flipping this piece around. Now, at the moment, remember that's sitting over there. It just stays there. So to flip this piece around, the first thing I want to do is move this one out the way so I can turn this front face. So I'll do a left turn. And then from this position, I'm going front prime, U2 front, and to bring it back in, I'll turn the right face, U right prime. Then I'll return the left, so a left prime there. Now, that's looking better. You can see if I was to come over and bring this last one in, you can see that structure has all of the pairs and clocks correct. So that's pretty straightforward to get there. So let's kind of turn that back. Let's now put this back into the solving position or configuration. And so I'll just do the opposite. I get that left out of the way. And this time I bring this up the right face first. And then I turn the front to receive it, bring it back down and return that left. And you can see that now looks way better. And we're able to do a lot of stuff with this. So we're going to be able to flip edges, move edges around, corner piece series for corners we can do. We can twist corners using, we're going to have to use sine. But sine, my goodness, I'm a maths teacher, but come on, Sune. Going to have to use Sune and the left-hand Sune as well. But all of that is possible over on this part now. So the next thing that I want to do is fill in a couple of trapped pieces. And one of them is this one here. So orange, blue, I've got to get to that position. So first thing is to locate it. It's sitting down here. Now to turn that up, the easiest thing is probably just to move that off, bring it up to the top face. Now you can see that it wants to turn down like that, but this part is in the way. So what I'm going to do is remove it to the back, turn this up to the front, and then bring this into position. Now, if I think where that's actually got to go, if I undo all that, that orange blue has to go to the green yellow. So when I bring it up, the green yellow's over here. So this now means it's just a simple down, down, up, up. Then I may bring the pair back, put it into place, and it's done. That's the first of the trapped pieces. The other of the trapped pieces is this one down here. This is slightly different, not harder, it's just different because I don't want to place green, white. What I want to place is green, yellow, because you can see that this is a yellow here. So I want that edge to match because at the end, I'm going to turn everything around and then I'd have the green, yellow correctly placed. So I'll locate that green, yellow, and I can either put it here or here depending on whether green's on the top or yellow's on the top. In this case, I'll just put it there, turn that one off, and now cycle this home to that position. Bring it back, that is done. And you can see exactly what I'm saying. I turn that up. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so they are the two pieces. Now, at this point, I'm going to solve the remaining edges. And let's think about how many there actually are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to solve them one by one, and I'm going to be switching between this configuration and the solve configuration every time. And the reason for that is I want to show you how to do it without remembering, well, the red blue has to go here and the blue yellow has to go here. We're just going to think it through step by step. So first thing, when I'm at this point, I'm going to change it to solved configuration. Like that. I'm going to notice that the yellow red actually needs to go over here to the yellow orange. That's my first one. Now I'll change it back. Okay, coming around here, yellow red had to go to yellow orange, and I'm taking note of the colors as well. So the yellow goes to there. So as I said, this I can just do very simple turns like that. So that's been placed, and just as I said, really to demonstrate every time that what we're doing is having an effect, I'll turn it back and you'll notice that is now in position. The next one, I note that the yellow blue needs to go to red green. So coming around here, there's the red green and there's the yellow blue. So I can happily turn this face at the moment. The question is, how can I get that to there without disturbing this one? Well, there's a couple of options. One option is just to use a Sune, because I could kind of turn this around and say, well, I'll just cycle those 3 pieces around. That's probably as easy as anything else. The other option is to simply note that when I started this, that's where it was. And all that I care about is not disturbing this one and moving the yellow blue to the red green. So at this point, I can just do a turn of the upper face, because what I don't know is whether I've got a swap of edges yet. So it's hard to tell. So I'm just going to go, well, let's assume I haven't. Put that into that position. So that is now where that yellow blue goes. Once again, let's come back to the solved. And we'll see that the yellow blue and the yellow red are now positioned. Okay, now that's going to leave us 3 edges, the yellow orange, the red green, and the green white. And at this stage, we can kind of have a look at things and say, well, we know the yellow green is in. We can see that white green is in because that must be the case when that turns. So I can now see that I actually have a swap, the yellow orange and the green red. I'm very happy about that because I wanted to show you how to deal with it. So because I have a swap of 2 pieces now, what I need to do is go back, twist the yellow face 1 turn and resolve the edges that I had here, the yellow blue and the yellow red. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we go. Remember, these are where I want those yellow blue and yellow red edges to land. So what I can do here, give it a twist, and then say, well, that yellow blue's got to come back to that position. So now the most sensible thing is to do a Sune. I'll do U2 as a setup, and then just cycle those 3 edges around. And I'll undo that setup. I've now got the yellow blue and the yellow red. My philosophy is if I'm going to have to use a Sune later on, because I've got no other option for corners, then there's no issue using it. I wouldn't necessarily use it if that was the only time I was using it. I'd probably go and do down, down, up, ups and things like that. But I kind of go, well, it's already being used. Doesn't matter. Now, let's go ahead and have a look at where we are now. Remember, we had a swap of 2 edges. So we should find now that we have a cycle of edges. And indeed, the green-white must go there. The yellow-orange has got to go there. That green-red's coming down here. Now, if you think about the green-red, yes, it must go down here because when this goes over to there, the green-red goes to that position. So definitely a nice 3 cycle. Now, this is not in a configuration that I can turn yet. So what I need to just think is that yellow-orange, that absolutely has to go into its correct position. And the reason for that is this little piece here doesn't actually get affected. If you think about the first move that I do is to turn that, it sort of sits over here and then other stuff happens. So yellow-orange has to go to green-red. And we also know that the green-red has to go to the green-white. So all we're going to do at the moment is say, let's just place the yellow-orange. Yellow-orange to green-red. That's all I'll remember. Okay, so where are my 3 pieces? These are fixed. I want yellow-orange going to green-red. So that tells me this is my cycle around like this. Well, that's just an ordinary Sune. Alrighty, that's done. Once again, let's see where we're at. What we can see now is it looks as though we actually have all edges completely done. You can sort of turn that and see, hey, all the edges are in. Now what I want to do is just set up for what would happen if you had 2 flipped edges. All right, well, here we are with the yellow blue and the yellow red still in position. That yellow orange is where it should be. That's where it should be. There's only 2 edges left, and we've got white green and red green. Now, it's hard to tell there whether they're in position, whether they're flipped. So what we'll do initially is to just put it back to the configuration which is solved. And then we'll note those 2 are in. Where are we at? We can see that because the yellow red or the yellow orange is in, that green white is where it should be, opposite the green yellow, and that green red is where it should be, but they are clearly flipped. If I was to turn that now, that's definitely flipped. That's definitely flipped. So I've got 2 flipped edges here. So what I need to do is find a way to use a standard flipping algorithm, which I would always use. And for that, I need the two edges in these positions. I also need these pairs to remain where they are while I do it. So I can't just turn this up like that because I will run into trouble with this pair. So I'll do something like, let me think, right. Oh no, I won't do anything because I'm not in that configuration. That's the tricky thing. So because I've worked out that that's what I need to flip, what I've got to do is flip them in the turnable configuration, but just remember it's green, white, and green, red. Okay, green, white, and green, red. Ah, that's even better because they are now over there. I can just do a U2 and flip those two edges, even though that one doesn't look like it needs flipping. Okay, that's done. I'll undo my U2 setup, puts these things back. We'll go ahead, reconfigure it. And we should now see that everything is exactly where it should be. So if I did that last turn, yep, all the edges are done and dusted. So that completes the edges of this puzzle. The next thing that I want to look at is to place the corners. Now, with the corners, I think I've got 5 to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ones that I want to take care of first are actually these ones over here, because this is where this thing is sitting. And what I'm going to be using is the corner piece series with this as the upper face. So an up, I can't do it now because it's not in the configuration, but an up, then a right, then an up prime, then a left prime, just like that. And for that, I need corners on this top face. And what that means is I want to get these two corners done first. Now you can see that the green, red, yellow is already done, and it happens to be oriented. Sometimes that happens, well, it's happened now. So we'll concentrate on this next one, which is supposed to be green, red, white. And what I note is that green, red, white has to go to white, blue, red. That is the thing that I want to remember. Green, red, white has to go to white, blue, red. So now I put it back into the turnable configuration. And I remember green, red, white has to go to white, blue, red. So there's that, and there's the white, blue, red. So what I want to do is something like get this piece up to here. In fact, for this first one, what I don't want to disrupt is this green, red, yellow. So if it happened that the piece that I really wanted to put here was over there, I would do something like do a U2 and then 3 down, down, up, ups. In this case, it's not. So I do have an option here of just cycling this piece around to there and then doing exactly what I said. I think that's probably the simplest way, because otherwise I'm going to be doing setups, getting this up here and putting it into position there. So I'm going to cycle this one over to that back corner first. It's just going to involve those 3 corners. And you'll note now that I'm happily able to carry out this corner piece series. There we go. That's done. Remember that I wanted green, red, white to go to white, red, blue, and I don't want to disturb that one, which is already done. So I'll turn that around. I'm now going to do 3 down, down, up, ups. It's going to swap these 2, and it's going to swap these 2. These 2, I don't care about yet. Okay, that's done. Let's undo the U-turns. You can kind of see, oh yeah, they're together now, but let's go ahead, put everything back, and see where we're at. Look at that. The green, red, yellow has not been touched. That green, white, red is now in its position. Beautiful. Okay, so those 2 are the first ones I want done. Now, when I consider things, they're my other 3 corners, and I've only got 3 left now, so I really just have to remember one going to another one. In other words, I say, well, where's white, red, blue going? That's going to orange, yellow, blue. So white, red, blue, orange, yellow, blue. That's what I remember. Put it back into its configuration. Okay, white, red, blue going to orange, yellow, blue. Now, the beauty of doing these first is I know the last three pieces are all up here. So white, red, blue going to orange, yellow, blue. Well, that must be the third one. And that tells me there's my piece movement. So it's a clockwise turn of the upper face first. If the piece movement was this way, well, I could either do two of these things or I could just do a setup and then do the mirror corner piece series. But we're going this way, so we'll just cycle them home now. That's all done. And we'll now see, if I put that back, all the corners are absolutely placed. And that, of course, only leaves twisting of corners. In this case, I've only got 2 to twist. Sometimes you'll have 3, sometimes 4. It's possible that you'd have all 5, but it's going to be the same procedure regardless. What I want to remember is that I need to twist the white, red, green clockwise, and this other one, the orange, yellow, blue, anti-clockwise. So let's just remember that. White, red, green clockwise. So white, red, green clockwise, that one clockwise, orange, yellow, blue, anti-clockwise. So I've firstly got to think, well, can I get this to here next to those two and then swing them around? Because that would be perfect. And I reckon I can. So I want to move that to the position there because this one's got to go clockwise, which means I need it in that back left position. And I need this one in the front left position over here. So that's what I want to do. Put that to there and that to there. Here's what I'm going to do. Front prime, up, 2. In fact, not up 2. I'm going to do front prime, up prime, front, up prime. Now they are exactly where they need to be, and I just need to remember that setup, which for me is not as easy as it sounds. My brain fogs a little bit. So I think I did front prime, up prime, front, up prime. So I'll try and remember to undo that after I have twisted these two corners. How do I do that? Well, I do a Sune, and I'll do the left-hand Sune. Doesn't matter that this is here because we're now going this way. Okay, they are twisted. You can kind of see that's looking pretty good there. So now let's undo my setups. I think I've got to go like that, and like that, and like that, and like that. Gee, I hope that's right. Let's go put everything back together because there's no way this looks like it's going to be solved in about 8 moves, but apparently it is. So let's have faith, and away we go. Oh my goodness, I don't know how this all works. It's a mystery, but there we go. That is absolutely solved. So that is the Bandaged Ruin cube. Really nice puzzle, tricky puzzle, I think. I don't know of a better way to do it apart from switching between the configurations. There may be one, but I found once I had cottoned onto that, it just made it so much easier just to move pieces around, which at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do here, is give us the ability to move pieces around. So the Bandaged Ruin cube. Well, this is the puzzle for the next video, and it looks like nothing's going on until I turn it over and we have a couple of pairs, not pairs, clocks sitting here. This is definitely one of the simpler ones, thank goodness. And it's actually called the Bandage Clock Earth puzzle. And all it's got is the clock from the white to white orange and the clock from the green to green white. Now, in the video next time, I'm also going to do the Bandaged Clock Venus. And the way that is different is it still has the same white part, but instead of this green part, it has a yellow part. The yellow part is sitting there from yellow to yellow-green. So it's basically moved a clock from there to there, 90 degrees around. I'll give much more info on what these are in the video, but that's what's happening next time.